Hello, Recon87 and welcome back to Combat Mission Cold War. We rejoined the Valley of Ashes scenario and our Soviet attack on a couple of US held positions. And the great right hook has commenced. So the kind of tail end of last video, we did start our kind of large armour mechanised push down this right flank. That was our kind of chosen avenue of attack. Initially to try and take out the kind of US overwatch position in this saddle between these two hills, before then turning to deal with the slightly harder proposition of their kind of overwatch position here. And as you can see, it's been a bloody start, and I'm expecting that to continue. The real question is, can we get enough of our forces down into essentially what is the safety of this valley, and then can engage at closer range where the T-64 has a bit better chance against these M63s, which are just can annihilate us at range. In terms of positives, so if you look at the American positions over here, okay, double click, not playing ball today. There we go. Very good. So it's not all doom and gloom. So we already taken out, I believe, 3 tanks. Maybe there's one there. There's one there. Both knocked out, and there's a third one. You a tank or you what do you call it? M113. I thought it was 3 tanks, but maybe it's just 2. Maybe my memory deceives me. And we've also importantly knocked out 2 of their TOWs, or ATGM vehicles. So this is good. So we obviously, there's 1 tank which we are aware of. It's still up and shooting, but if we get close enough, we can definitely isolate that. Meanwhile, artillery continues to saturate this area, and while we're not that likely to take out a tank with it. It was a good point raised in the comments that actually dropping a whole bunch of artillery on US tank positions is very good for degrading their offensive capabilities, damaging equipment on the outside of the tanks, which hurts their ability to see things. So that's not too bad. We've got a lot of forces. The real problem, and it continues to be the problem this entire mission, is this rather excellent overwatch position which the Americans have picked here. And I will show you why that is causing us so many problems. If we come down to this lead tank here, get ourselves down to about the tank height, and then if we do a nice little zoom, you can see he has excellent command over vast swathes of this valley we're trying to push down. So he's just getting to sit and take pot shots at us it's about 3 kilometers range, and that's really where our casualties are going to come, and there's not a huge amount we can do that. Turning and fighting this isn't really valid, so we really want to be, like I said, within a kilometre before we start trying to engage these kind of M60s without overwhelming firepower, which, I mean, realistically, even if we came down and came up on this hill line, that's probably still about 2 kilometres away, which is quite a distance. So this definitely proving a challenge. We have got our air assets, which are on the way in 4 minutes, I believe, with a point strike on, I think it's on the rear tank, which in hindsight is a poor choice. I should have gone for the front tank, and I may look to try and change that once the mission commences, looking to kind of reaching out to the front one, because this guy at the back is really not causing us problems. The front one definitely has line of sight. I think the second one does as well. The back two not so much, just because of the saddle of the hill, but that's definitely where a good chunk of our losses are going to come from. Meanwhile, air defense, as you can see here, trying to keep the skies clear, but the American Air Force is causing us some problems, and unfortunately, I don't know if I acknowledged this in the back of the last video, but the last strike which we took out was of this BMP-2. Not a big deal in its own right, except that was the one carrying all our anti-air missiles. So these 2 ILGA teams have now shot their load, so to speak. So that leaves our entire AA down to these 2 Shilkas. But that's it. So I've been through, just before I start recording the video, made sure everyone's got offensive commands. Because there is this stream that runs down the middle here, which limits the areas you can cross with the vehicle. I've got a lot of people kind of crossing at this end and then rampaging down. If I click something, you'll probably see the orders flash up, with a few tanks kind of heading down this side, which then get in the valley and melee, but there's limited ability to kind of cross over. So if we're looking to kind of mount a position on this edge of this hill to kind of fight back at close range, then this offers our best bet. But we can also go down and through the town, so that is avenue some of our forces are doing. But yeah, again, I'm no. Well, I think this is the best tactic. Maybe not executed in the best manner. I still think we are opening ourselves up to a lot of losses here, and it's really a question of how effective a force we can get down here, and then what we can do to degrade the US capabilities on this position before our final reinforcement life, which I believe is another motor rifle battalion. Well, not a battalion, but you know, troop squad, whatever the right word is. One day I'll get all that stuff right. And we're off. And so a real champion for us being thus far has been this ATGM chap has taken out one of the tanks, so I do want to protect him. There's the only one we've got left. But it's a bit kind of luck of a draw what is attacked. It's like one of our tanks took a hit there, but is still going bravely. Our helicopter's a few minutes out, so it's probably not them. Oh, pot shot. Looks like you're going to miss by quite some distance. Oh no, it's an ATGM. I take it back. Will the distance struggle? Let's see where that shot lands. Hit front turret, no penetration. So, to be honest, as long as the tank can sit up and just eat a few rounds and let our brethren advance, that's the win here. That's what we're really banking on, is the power of Soviet armour, at this range especially, to shrug off a few shots. I just want to see where that ATGM landed. Obviously, it didn't hit, but how far away were they? And did it do that thing we saw, where it gets close to them and swears off? No, it just... It just missed. I think it was an ATGM. Oh. Potentially you? Nah, I have too many tanks, I don't know what's coming from where. Here it comes. No, just a miss for some reason. Disappointing, that would have been nice. Okay. Let's resume our position at the back of our forces before we continue. Try and give ourselves a bit of an overview of the action, and I'll not jump around too much so we can kind of keep track of it. But we're getting some tanks in advanced position here. We have got one who's immobilised, unfortunately. But again, if he can sit there and eat a few shots, I'll be a fairly happy man. I'm going over here in a bit of strength, which is good, but here's some return fire. I think that's one we saw the first time round. Oh, looks like I've missed an order on someone. That's not what you really want to see. Another hit shrugged off. And a miss, this is good. Ooh, two pretty serious hits there. So one's, that's another tank taken out, and one was shrugged off, and another hit was shrugged off here. Okay. So I think we only lost one vehicle last time. That turn, only, I say. Obviously to no hits out to Soviets. But it's a start. It's a start. The only thing I just want to quickly check is whether these guys took out the aircraft at the very start of this minute. Just let me hold a few clicks back. Okay. Go on, give me the pop-up. Nah. Fine. Okay, let's jump into command phase. Alright, so all I'm going to do here is I'm going to check to make sure everyone still has valid movement orders. The strategy is not going to change, and we'll bring it back just as we start the next minute. Yeah, we'll do that. Alright, orders in. Let's see the carnage continue. Just a few kind of pinch points down towards the foot of this valley, just where the kind of crossing through the trees and the rivers. Slim out. Oh, that is a bad first 10 seconds, really. There's two of our BMPs knocked out there. Oh man, there's another BMP and another BMP. That's Some horrific accuracy from the Americans there. Tank's taking a hit, but it's still going, which is something at least. Similarly here, although they could have knocked out the weapon. How are you feeling about life? No, you're still okay. He's decided to reverse away, which is somewhat frustrating. And the Americans bring down some artillery, which makes sense. The majority of my forces are pushing through here. Why are you trundling so slowly, my friend? Your wheels are damaged. That's worrying. Okay, however, we have now got our first vehicles down into this village. Where they are kind of safe, when I use a word from American positions on here. So I suppose really what I want to do is navigate them through the village and bring them up into this position and start fighting Americans that are left in the trees over here. And then we can kind of turn and decide what we're going to do about these four. But it's not the worst. I mean, I'm a little uncomfortable at these losses, but that might just be the way you have to do it to kind of push out and entrench the enemy position. How are we getting on to break through on this side? Yes. We're not enjoying going through the trees. Fair enough. Also, there's a whole bunch of smoke out. That's not going to help anyone. Or rather, it's not going to help us. Because the M61, the M60A3s can see through it, and we cannot. Alright, command phase it is. I will go through and check all my orders again, and then we will come back for hopefully maybe a bit of an offensive position. The other thing, I mean, theoretically, what we could do, we could try and take them on, but really, again, this distance, unless I've got large numbers, it's not doing much for me. Just sitting pretty there, those guys. Grr. Okay, right, I'll go put the orders in and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've been having a bit of a think about where we are with our forces. In terms of fact, we've still got 2 T-64s and 2 BMPs sitting in the funnel, so to speak. And I think I'm just going to keep them there for just now. And we're going to push forward the forces that we've got and see what we can get to the other side. Interesting enough, it does seem to be, and I wasn't really expecting it, but the BMPs have suffered horrendously. I mean, just looking at the forces I've got left, I've got a reasonable number of tanks have made it through. And okay, we shrugged off a few hits, but and I don't know if the AI has been prioritising the BMPs. Should be an interesting interesting thought, but I've certainly seemed to have lost the vast majority of that kind of first most rifle group. And in fact, we've only got one who's threatening to get through, and one who's about to make a bit of a dash for it. So I'm not holding out much hope that we're going to have much infantry when we going to get to this breakthrough. But hopefully we can get enough to maybe suppress them here, and then maybe it will be a case of trying to engage this M60 at slightly shorter range if we can find the right angle on it. But that's going to have to wait till we get through, get our tanks through here and see what kind of fire position we can build on this hill. Yeah, and we're going to keep these rest of guys themselves. The one other thing I've done, and again it's probably a bit of the forlorn hope, is I've taken one of the BMPs and I'm potentially going to try and, again, do a kind of pop-up long shot about 2.5k while they're engaged down here. Probably going to go poorly, but it's worth a shot, I think. Oh man, look at all this black smoke. So we'll hold the people we've got here. I've got lots of infantry crawling all over the place, and then we're just going to press forward with what we got and see what makes it out. But I think we're going to end up at least, at least 7 tanks. I think are pretty much clear, with potentially getting 10 if things go well, something like that. Which is a pretty sizable force. We know we've taken out a number of their ATGM assets, and there's one tucked back about way back here, which we'll deal with eventually. And then, ouch. I'm worried there's a bit of a roadblock here, which you do have to concern ourselves with. That was just secondaries. Let's jump back. The other bit I wanted to... Oh, hang on, things are happening. Oh, my replay's going mental. Yeah, oh, actually, let's go back. Okay, no, that wasn't just secondaries, that was us losing a T-64B. The other bit, which is worth talking about, is our air assets in play. And it looks like they have scored themselves a kill. Yeah, we'll lose that guy right at the start of the minute. Okay. Well, it's not going to be the full 10 though, but that's to be expected. Right, so I just saw a green flash, so we're going to cut a bit and jump over here. So our two Hinds were sent on a kill order, and they do have anti-tank guided missiles. And it was a point target. I don't know how expansive their mission will be. So obviously they were targeting this rear tank, which they have a beautiful hit on. But I don't know whether, and there was two of them, whether they just call that a day, or whether they're going to expand and attack others. If we quickly check our air controller. Oh, of course I can't look at it in the middle of the replay. So we'll see. So I'll be interested to find out whether they do attack others, or if they just say, oh, job done, and go off home. Which would be a little disappointing, because the call-out time was long and arduous. But one less tank over there. I'm take that as a win. He says he comes back to his own tanks getting taken out. And there goes yet another BMP. Just... struggling, but look, we've got 4, definitely made it through. Got a bit of a stall over here, which is making me uncomfortable. Oh, there's another one going out. Please tell me it's on a different target. Ha! Our ATGM ate it. That's a painful loss. They've been doing good work for us. Yeah, they're done. But this, and to be honest, this may be the thing that saves us if we can take out some more of these with our air assets. Lost it. I definitely saw the green, the glorious green flash. I'll have to start. I'll see you at the start of the next minute. Let's go to command phase. Let's have a quick check of that air controller. See what his mission looks like now. Quite busy. They're still attacking. Yeah, you can't change the target, so I'm hopeful that they've just decided to attack the tank next door, which would be nice. Oh, actually, this may not be the shot I thought it was. But, nah, it must be. Someone else over here has got that capability. Only one would be you, and I don't think you can see anyone. No, you can't. That's fine. Must be the air asset. It's just an odd angle, but I'm not going to grumble about that. Okay, what do I want to do? Right, these guys are making their way through town. That's good. One infantry has made it. We've got a bit of a tangle here. I'll need to untangle, and I'll do it. So we've got one immobilized here, which is you, and everyone else is good to try and push forward. And we'll get these guys through. It's just there's a slight hold up here on a wooden train and stream, which I think is just that slowing us down a little bit. I think in hindsight, which is also a wonderful thing, it may have been better to maybe do just a pure armoured push to try and get us dominant position and then back up BMPs after having taken it out. I mean, ideally, if I'd got that air asset on the front unit, that would have been a much stronger use of those air assets. And that just came down to when I ordered the mission, I had a different strategy in mind. Can't win all. Okay, I'll do my usual, let's see how we're getting on with the orders, and then we'll jump back for what should hopefully be our first kind of core team starting to pick up a fire position here. Okay, orders away. Let's start by seeing where this air attack lands. I think that's the most interesting bit, and then we'll cut back and see if the rest of our forces, which are mainly tanks at this point, because our BMPs have been somewhat annihilated, managed to make it into position. pretty decent. No, it hit a tree. Let's go for a slightly closer look. That's pretty disappointing, unless it was aimed at the original tank, which it may well have been. No, it just blown up a tree. Okay. Not really what we were aiming for. Okay, thanks. US air attacks continue to hit just our dismounted infantry, which is kind of okay. These guys got themselves in an absolute tangle, which I'm trying to get them out of, but it's not ideal. Looks like the immobilised tank has finally been picked on, so serving a little bit of purpose there. Some more US air attacks, judging by the sound of the shellcase behind us. Okay, these guys have finally sorted themselves out. The delay is not good, so now means they're going to be kind of traversing over here somewhat isolated, because obviously you want everyone going at once, so there's less targets to pick on. Okay. So I really want to get everyone in position before they, so we can kind of come up at the same time. I do want to make sure, yeah, there's no eyes over there, that's fine. I think I really want to come up about here. Can I take hull down positions along this ridgeway and pick off, hopefully, whatever's there. And that's probably, again, there's no real change in strategy here. I will need to, so what we're going to have to do is take out this position. And then we're going to have to engage this so then we can send our final infantry platoons down to actually capture some of these objectives. I'm not holding on hope of getting actually to that last one at the minute. I think maybe I've overplayed my hand a bit early in terms of losing all the kind of infantry in the BMPs, but we'll see. We've got 34 minutes left, that's a lot of time. So there, I'll go and issue the orders for these guys coming up the ridge. Hopefully we'll see if we can't take on this position. Okay, and we are back. So first thing to talk about, aero controller. So I set up another fire mission. I'm not ecstatic with this. Essentially using the same Hinds again with their ATGMs. Both of them called it in. Yes, big ATGMs, a point target on the vehicle. And the reason I'm doing the point target is because I was like, well, if I give them an area target, they'll just come in with their rockets instead of their ATGMs. But it does mean I've got another point target, and it's a 16-minute delay though. Also means the chance of me getting to use some of the last of my planes and my other Hinds and things are limited. I mean, really, for this number of air assets, having one air controller is tough. It's really tough to try and actually use them in a kind of targeted manner, not just a sporadic attack, you know, all over the place at start, like I used some of it for. Meanwhile, I've given these guys all a bunch of hull down target, so hopefully they should just crest this ridge and no more. And I've finally sorted these chaps out over here. So it looks like we end up with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we still could get 10. I had more tanks than I thought. But we have lost. We've lost a lot. Let's not beat bones that. But I'm looking forward to maybe pushing back. And also, so this is another one of our pre-planned missions coming in now. You can see our own artillery falling on Hofashenbach or Mittelashenbach, which that'll do. We'll take out some of the US forces there. Hurt some infantry. I'll be happy with that. Right, so we have got eyes on this tank, and he is merrily blasting away at our troops. Thankfully, no penetrations thus far. Now, the one problem is about one disruption from our munitions here, kicking up smoke, will hinder our tanks well to the spot, but not so much their tanks well to the spot. So that's not ideal. Oh, for Pete's sake! There you go. So bypass all the crisscrossing tank fire, and then we get taken out from the air. So that's unfortunate. Spun the map around in panic. So this I had considered this, but not enough. I'm assuming this is a handheld HG. Maybe not actually. No. That's another air vehicle, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. Start up there. Because I thought, I'm covered from the town from any infantry held stuff. Yeah, that's just another aerial one. Okay, planes, American planes taking their toll. Ouch. Right. Have we got sight with anyone here? No, not yet. This is what we want. This is the engagement we feel that we can win. If we'd stop losing them to air missions. Who do we lose you to, my friend? Oh, that was the earlier airplane. Okay. I really want to get in, put some offensive out, because I feel I'm just taking punches in this, like, making forward progress. But my goodness, are we paying for it? Right. So, do you have line of sight to this tank? Important question. Much up there. If not, why not? Yeah, you kind of do. I wonder if it's just the smoke and dust's upsetting you, or if it's the tree in front, which could be causing you some problems. Let's, if we click off, so we can see it. We zoom all the way in. Yeah, that's not much of a view, is it? So let's have you advance forward slightly, please. What about you? I see. I think you might be able to see it, you know. We need to scooch forward, which is going to expose more of ourselves. Obviously, the areas I'd selected for the hull down missions, maybe not the best. I'm just going to cancel that and have you scoot forward to say here. And then, do you know what? Let's get pointed with this. Let's give everyone a target armor arc so they can focus on their area. Right, clicking through everything. Right. Come on. Zoom up a little bit. And get on the ground. There we go. Focus on that, my good man. We're going to do the same, but slightly differently. Just make sure it's back far enough. I would definitely want you to stop shy. I've clicked off the map. Okay, and likewise for you. So hopefully we'll get in, we'll see him, and yeah, we'll get some revenge. I think I'm just going to get everyone to come up onto this ridge line and just go for overwhelming firepower. So that seems like a good way to win the day. I say win. See if we can't snatch a draw from the jaws of defeat. There you go, that was a phrase I prefer. Okay, you guys are still trundling along, somehow surviving. Just want to quick check on our ATGM unit over here. Well, BMP with its ATGM. Check its line of sight. Also, I'm hopeful that its troops might be able to do some direction. I think long term, this guy's just going to get mullers. Right, okay, they can see this unit. He in this position, I'm 100% sure should be able to see it. Right, just go forward a little bit so I'm not seeing my own tank. Yeah, look at that. Right. It's a pretty damn dangerous position for this guy to be in, to be perfectly honest. But his troops should 100% be able to tell him, hey mate, there's a tank over there, why don't you shoot an ATGM at it? And if I swap a tank for a BMP, I'll be happy. It's a damn sight better than most of the trades I've made thus far. Okay, let us push onwards and upwards. I'm going to start here to see how these guys get on, and then maybe we'll recap any losses further back. Hindsight, it probably would be good to have an ATGM asset there throughout this push, while he, if nothing else, to try and distract him or catch him out, or a number of things. Right. Anyone got vision, got sight? Come on, lads. I feel it's like the first scenario again, where we were just staring at American tanks not being able to see them. Anything? That's a worrying development. With another M60 parked over here. Oh, there he is. Hello. Right. Oh, you can now see him. Alright, well maybe we'll just get you to engage. Alright, let's go. No, I want to check. Check. Oh, hang on, what happened here? Looks like we lost our last BMP at this range. Right. What took you out? So we went that, I didn't see anything there. Not 100% sure. Okay, and you guys are now getting hung up on that infantry item. A little bit of undergrowth foliage, say what you will. Right, you guys are doing reasonable work over here. Do you think you've seen a tank yet? I'm going to guess no. Okay. Right, let's go command phase. Let us see. We're getting to the tail end of the video, so this might be the last moment that we go through. If we can take out some of these blasted Americans, right. Yes, I want you guys to come up here. I'm going to clear your armoured target arcs, because to be honest, if you can see either of those tanks, I want you to fire at them. You no line sight. You're literally telling me the guy's there. No, not happy with that. God dang it. Interesting, because he's shooting you, you can see him, identify him, but you're telling me you have no line of sight. Oh look, pull back then. And I'm tempted to actually get these guys to open up, just so they might actually be able to see something else, because I'm worried the same thing's going to happen, we're just going to start taking fire before we've actually done a spot. Now what's the target distance here? I thought we'd be down to within a kilometre or so. .3, 1.4. Okay. Not ideal, but we can make this work. Why don't I bring you up onto this ground? So, let's see if we can't use numerical superiority. If these guys can't win the fight here, then this mass charge forward is kind of for naught, and that's not Not really what we need. Okay, what are you lads doing? Alright, I'll go sort this mess out off camera, and we'll come back. Alright, we're back. Let's push on. Let's see in a minute. Let's hopefully see us take out an American tank with our tanks. Oh, that's not really the star I wanted. Apparently you still can't see anything. Despite a main battle gun, a main battle tank's gun firing 1.4 kilometers away. Yeah, again, we're just now taking hits without actually seeing anything. I mean, as a force, we know it's there. Well, information's not getting to our tanks. Okay. So after expending all this material asset to get ourselves half a dozen tanks within spitting distance of Americans, we are not winning this firefight. In the slightest. In the slightest. Well, this is not great. Okay. Oh, but we're at the end of time for a video anyway. So I'm going to call this one here. So it's now actually 4 days since I recorded this footage live, and I thought I'd come back and redo the outro. You may have noticed there was a little bit of frustration and, dare I say, despondency creeping into my general demeanour towards the end of this video. And I wasn't very happy with the way I ended it. I think at this point, I've got to acknowledge that Plan B has been marginally more successful than Plan A, but that still results in essentially a complete American victory. I don't think with the forces we've got left on the field that it's really we're in any kind of winnable scenario, or even really managing to eke out a draw. I think would be a challenge at this stage. So while I'm not one to back down from any kind of tactical challenge in CM, I think in this instance I've got to admit that this scenario's simply got the better of me, and that the designers were being quite accurate when they labelled it as a hard scenario from a Soviet perspective. So I'm just going to have to chalk this one up as a loss in my record book, and maybe come back to in the future when I've really gained my Cold War veterancy and I'm a master of Soviet tactics. Maybe. But in the meantime, I will be back next week with a different video. I'm going to start a new scenario, and hopefully a far more successful one. I appreciate all the feedback I've had on this scenario to date. I think it's been some great ideas. I would really be interested here if anyone has managed to complete it themselves now that the game is out, and if so, how you went about it. And also, kudos, because it's not something I've managed. Either way, despite the loss, I hope you found this series and this episode enjoyable, and as ever, I'll catch you in the next one.